This is Ty Dickinson
and Erica Lopez from the University of Oklahoma Weather Lab, bringing you a summer edition of our climate podcasts. In this one, we will recap the months of June and July in terms of temperature, precipitation, review drought changes since May, and discuss new Atlantic hurricane and El Nino outlooks. Thanks for joining us in this special podcast. Now let us dive in.
Since our last podcast in May, Oklahoma drought has shifted into parts of central and northwest Oklahoma. June was one of the driest months on record for much of Oklahoma, aiding in the development of moderate and severe drought. The other area of drought development was in south central Texas, ironically where I spent the summer in an internship. In general, rain was sparse for these past 3 months, much like Oklahoma. As we look at the entire southern United States, Florida and Georgia are now completely removed of the severe and extreme droughts that had been one of the major focuses for many of our spring videos.
Let us discuss some observation for temperature and precipitation since our last video. June temperatures tended to be above normal in Texas and Oklahoma and below normal if you were to look east. Major cities in the southern U.S. were only within 2 degrees of normal. However, there were no areas in this region that experienced below normal months in July. Southeast Texas and Florida saw the warmest temperatures compared to normal. Overall, it was the 10th warmest July in 123 years. This year, through the end of July, has been second warmest period on record only to 2012. Temperatures much above normal through July dominated as cities such as Dallas, Montgomery, Miami, Houston all recorded their warmest years on record.
Precipitation-wise, June saw a wide range in accumulations which depended on location. Texas and Oklahoma tended to be quite dry, whereas areas along the Gulf Coast were very wet. All of Louisiana and Mississippi experienced wetter than normal Junes, while Oklahoma and central Texas had less than 60% of their normal rainfalls. Notice how these above normal rainfall areas line up fairly well with areas that had below normal precipitations from the previous graphic. For July, there were more areas of above normal rainfall than below normal rainfall throughout the South. There were some areas in southern Alabama and Mississippi that were near record accumulations. However, for the rest of the South, accumulations were only slightly above normal. Overall, this was the 7th wettest January through July on record and wettest since 1998. Montgomery, Alabama actually had its wettest period on record after receiving almost 18 inches more rain than normal.
The National Hurricane Center updated their Atlantic hurricane outlook yesterday. This updated outlook increased from 45% to 60% for an above normal hurricane season. So far, the Atlantic basin has seen 6 named storms, with the last one, Franklin, becoming a hurricane briefly. For the remainder of the season, their official forecast is for 8 to 13 additional named storms, with 4 to 8 of those becoming hurricanes and potentially 2 to 5 of those becoming major hurricanes.
The Climate Prediction Center published their newest El Nino forecast today. Their official ENSO probability forecast uses the latest observational and predictive data. It is important to note that the first 6 values are for this year and the remaining values are for 2018. The July, August, September season has an 84% likelihood of neutral conditions with a probability of 6% for La Nina conditions and 10% for El Nino. The August, September, October, and the September, October, November seasons have likelihoods between 72 to 78% for neutral conditions, while La Nina and El Nino conditions are between 11 and 16%. The October, November, December season has a likelihood of 64% neutral conditions and a 16% likelihood of La Nina, while El Nino conditions are at 12%. As we move into 2018, these neutral conditions stabilizes around 50%, with La Nina between 21 and 26%, and El Nino between 15 and 21%.
Once again, this podcast has been brought to you by the University of Oklahoma Weather Lab, a top academic weather and research program in the United States and partner of the Southern Climate Impacts Planning Program. We have some exciting plans coming soon to the channel as the fall semester approaches. Our next video will be at the end of August as we transition to uploading on Fridays to bring you only the most updated official outlooks. Thanks for tuning in to our summer podcast and see you at the end of the month.